Perfect. Happy New Year, guys. It is January the 13th, and I'm very happy to have lived through another year. It was a fantastic year, a year full of learning, a year that gave me the opportunity to understand many things about my surroundings and my life, my family, and what I need to do to be able to put the things that I put into perspective in how to realize many of the goals and objectives I have. So great year. Happy 2026. This is going to be so the accumulation of all that knowledge and learning is going to blossom and explode in the year 2026. I'm not just saying that because of me. I'm saying that truly because I believe that that is the energy for this year. I believe in that, guys. I believe in good energy and good and okay. So we have Rose is here. Welcome on board. Yo is here. Venture to excel. And as we move into the live, into progress into the live, I'm sure more people are going to join. It is the first live that I do this year, so people might be partying still and celebrating. But yeah, good riddance, guys. I hope. Um, I'm pretty sure everything is going to be great for you guys, and this year is going to be a lot better. All right, my name is Jader. I am the founder of Black Label Closers, an organization dedicated to help people become massively exceptional in the art of high ticket sales. Um, you can learn here how to be an effective closer. I want you to, for those who are hungry and are looking to learn how to do this, and even those that have some experience, stop thinking of yourselves as salespeople. All right, stop thinking that you are a salesperson. You are a closer. All right. Even if you're coming into this as a setter, you have to have a closer's mentality, a closer's mindset. All right. And so we help people become exceptional closers above and beyond sales. Now, obviously, this is a sales industry, right? The reason why I wanted to change the context, not the context, by calling yourselves closers instead of salespeople, is because if you look at the best attorneys in the world, they call themselves closers. Okay, if you look at the best, most surgical and effective entrepreneurs, businessmen and women in the world, they call themselves closers. And the reason why they do that is because they're not selling. They're too good. They're too good to sell. Right? You're too good to sell. You need to focus on how much you can help people. And we'll talk about throughout this month. We're going to be talking about the perception of money and how you should perceive money. And money is not something you should feel that you're desperate for, and certainly do not chase money. All right, make money chase you. All right. I love when people say I'm a money chaser. Well, if you're still chasing money, probably you haven't gotten it right. All right, guys, we're gonna focus on things, and as you know, I always take notes and look at the notes first right here. So the title of today's live is how you are expected to behave in a high ticket environment. All right, it's not a question; it's a statement. All right, so let's dive right into this. I'm gonna break everything down because a lot of people get caught in the midst of the deception and distraction and desperation in the process of sales. If you are looking to become a closer and you do not have the stomach to turn the switch off when you're desperate, when you are um, angry, when you are sad, when you're, I mean, there are things that we, take precedence over, you know, being a closer, obviously, right? Your family emergencies that happen and take place, but every single person in this life has challenges. Be proportional and don't allow distractions inside. And I'm going to focus in what's inside the organizations and how people should react um, to this. All right. So let's dive into it. The first point I have here is do not ever blame the lead. Instead, give feedback on what the lead needs. What you think, because a lot of the times the salesperson, if I put a post, right, if I post a job with the possibility of making $300,000, right, you come in. I know I've done it before. I have experience, and I'm starting this company, and I start getting the leads, right, and then you come in, and then the lead is not what you expected. This is a great opportunity if you know how to do this. If you have trained well, and you have, even if you haven't proven yourself, but you have been going through the proper training, and you understand what closing through persuasion and consultation, and you have been given the right feedback from those who are experienced that you are doing well, you can help companies like that establish themselves, train others, become a manager, and make the money you want. But if you start complaining about the lead, and there are leads that suck, I get it, right? If you come into a place and you have a meeting and the lead is less than what they promised you, maybe give it up. Don't precipitate, right? Don't just go the first week and say, "Oh, this sucks, whatever, I'm leaving." Give it at least 2 weeks if you have the financial backup to be able to do that. If you don't, find yourself a different game before you complain and you bring everybody down. Because sometimes what happens is the upfront team that's bringing in the lead, maybe they just need to tweak the lead a little bit, right? Maybe they're not targeting the right financial angle, right? Maybe they're not targeting the right age. Maybe they're not targeting, whatever. And once they tweak that, just because you gave them feedback, you're going to be able to have in front of you a lead that not just became better, but is night and day, right? Only if you give feedback. I I don't like to have people start a negative comment. Now, one thing is you bring in something to the table that concerns you, and bring in that something not as gossip or as in a complaint, but more with a concern of improving in what you can do to be able. You have to understand that you're talking to people that are in business. You're talking to the front line, to the front line of people that create the economy, salespeople, and these people are not going to be okay with you trying to demean the offer, or the sales meeting should be only about two things: how do we make this better, and what are we doing that is not working, right? And why are those two things separate? Because sometimes you're doing things that don't work, that you don't know, that you haven't realized you're doing it, or you haven't realized they're the very thing, whatever it is, that is causing a negative outcome. And then what can we do to improve means the things you can see, right? So those are two separate things. So sales meetings, training, talking about challenges, what's going on, why didn't you close? As a manager or business owner, I don't want to ask people, why didn't you close more deals, but what can we do to help you this week? increase your numbers, right? It's all about the past. It's in the past. The past week is gone, and you got to clean. It's the same thing as if boom, last week you make $25,000 take home. You close $200,000 in just 1 week. You come in Monday, it's gone. That week happened. They're going to be super happy. You're going to be congratulated. You're going to be giving props for. And that's it. It's a brand new week. Means you got to prove yourself all over again. So make sure you keep a positive tone. And most of the things that I'm going to talk about here today, we'll talk about positivity, right, and encouragement. That's so. Instead of complaining, give feedback on what the lead needs. That's very important to understand. All right. Number two, do not rub it in people's faces when you have wins. All right. You don't just rob something. You don't just go up to someone. I'm sorry. I think I misspelled that. All right. Well, you guys, it's a misspell. I'll fix it. You don't go into a meeting once you had a great week and just and I guess it really depends on the kind of relationship you have to the team. There are teams that's how they deal with each other because their personalities, they don't get hurt easily. They're not there to inferior, to make somebody else or another person feel inferior, and they can get away with hey, in your face type of thing, and everybody laughs and has a good time. But the only thing is, if you're new to the company or you're not on that level, or maybe the group is not like that, abstain yourself from rubbing people's things. Rubbing it in people's faces. Make sure you don't get sarcastic and rowdy about your wins. Be humble. Be celebratory. Absolutely, you can do that, but make sure you understand that you're there to help people and you're there to be helped. Bear in mind that the reason why you did well is because a whole team is generating those leads, and somebody is doing the right thing. The coach, the lead gen, and everybody else is doing the right thing for you to be able to have an excellent lead that gave you the opportunity for you to close those many deals the week before. So always think in terms of us, the team, right? That's not to say you shouldn't be competitive, all right? There's individuality at some point. There's got to be you in what you could do for yourself, right? But at the same time, if somebody and always offer a helping hand. It doesn't. It's not going to hurt you if you create. Look, so many people have the perception that I'm not going to teach people some of the things I know because I'll create competition. Well, competition is good. I mean, think about this. If your company is doing really well and everybody's selling and you're doing the right thing and you're a great closer and everybody's learning from you, well, that company is going to make more money to be able to create leads. Now, I do believe that you should be compensated if you train people. Don't train people without compensation. You can help them out, but one thing is helping them out. Another thing is being officially singled out as the person who's going to give the secrets or the strategy. If there are people that business owners that are pretty smart, pretty sneaky, right, in the way they do things, and when they see you that you're doing, it's happened to me, right? It's happened to me. When they start, they see you're closing by far better than anybody on the team, and then they start, so Jared, how'd you do this, and what would you do here, and what would you do there? And I start giving a lot of advice. Now I'm feeling like, okay, So now the meetings I felt in this one company, I felt that I came every meeting was I was expected to teach people or to give tips and stuff until I had to come out and say, "Hey, am I the trainer here?" Because I haven't been proposed, I haven't been asked. And the guy said, "Well, yeah. What do you need?" And I said, "Well, I need to be compensated for this, right?" And then I asked for an override, and then I felt a lot more comfortable and happy. I was happier to help people in their process. Okay. Okay. I need to edit this because I misspelled a word, and I want to make sure. Yeah. So, all right, let's look at the next item that we have here. Always give props to those who do good. Just like you want to be incentivized by people telling you did a great job. Look, a lot of people have an envy problem, especially in sales. If you feel inclined to feel envy or you're jealous when somebody else does good or well, you are going to, first of all, the feeling of envy is going to corrode um, your mindset. It's going to permeate throughout the week. It's going to make you think of things that are not relevant for your progress, for your process, right? If you don't have any problem with people doing well, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to you if you have problems when people do well. Stop it. Stop it. It's detrimental. It's not going to help you, and it's gonna make you sink, and it's just it's painful. It's a painful process. Instead of being jealous or envious about someone doing well, try this. Go the opposite and go, "Hey man, that was a great job." And you will see that once you tell someone they've done a great job, the gratitude in their eyes is going to project back to you, and they're going to wish you well because you just did something that means a lot to them. Trust me. Instead, if you're a person who's inclined to be jealous about people's uh, wins and achievements, try the opposite. Because if you want to be an excellent and an effective closer, closers do not have the time. If highly effective closers do not have the time to criticize another closer because they did well, especially because not many people are great closers. All right. So if you have a company full of people, you'll probably have 2%, 5% people that are excellent closers. So you're not going to be thinking too much of other people's wins because you're going to have more wins than most people. Why? Because you don't have the time to hate those who do well because you're doing well. I mean, it's just a circle that comes fully. That it comes full circle. So it's just guys, right? So always give props to those who do well. Number four, that was number three. And number four, always encourage those who are behind. People that are not doing well need encouragement. And if you're doing well, don't be, "I'm doing well. I don't give a crap about anybody else." Because when you have that type of attitude, I don't know if something's going to happen to you. I don't know if karma is going to come and knock on your door. Maybe not. But it's always good to help other people do well, right? And if you can get them out of the gutter, right, and you can help them with word, with kindness and a helping hand. Well, hey man, you haven't made sales for 2 weeks, and I know that your job is pending, and everybody's making good money here. What can I do to help you? You're gonna have someone sooner or later that's gonna turn back on you in a good in a positive sense because maybe that person grows a lot and you guys can create great teams, maybe partner up, maybe, I mean, just doing good things out there will reciprocate later on. The universe will reciprocate those things back to you guys. So, in my opinion, always um, give encouragement to people. All right, that's my opinion. All right, let's go to the next one. This is the fifth. The fifth one is if you're given a script. Oh, this is very important, guys. I want you to really take this to the bank because um, it's a pain in the butt for managers and business owners. People want you to do well, and they pour their knowledge and everything on a script. Like when I train people, if I'm doing it through Black Label, right? I want to make sure. That's why I'm so selective when I pick people to bring into my training program, my training process. I want to make sure that they are going to follow not just the script, but the script. You know what I mean? The whole process. So this is very important. What I'm about to say. If you are given a script, go over the script at least 3 hours per day until you do not have to read it. Let me make a pause here or a pit stop here because I'm going to talk about this and it's very important. Hopefully, I can cover the other ones because this is really important. When there is a script, when you have a script, one of the most infuriating things that a customer can perceive from you or a prospect can perceive from you is that you're reading a freaking script. Now, I understand there's a learning curve and you're going to you're going to make the mistake of sounding like you're reading a script, which you shouldn't be making that mistake because number one, I hope you learn how to read. And number two, I hope that whoever's training you is going to give you enough time for you to digest that script. That if you don't understand the industry, right? Because if you understand the industry, in the sales process, not the industry technically speaking, but how to sell the industry, then you're probably not going to need. But this is for experienced closers. I'm talking about when you come in and you're given a script to something you don't know. You need to learn, okay? If you're a slow reader, right? And it happens a lot with young generation. With the young generation, guys, you're going to forgive me for saying this, but a lot of people don't know how to read. A lot. Younger people have a hard time reading. Not everybody, and I wouldn't say even 50%, but for people in a developed country, 20% of people don't know how to read or read and not knowing how to read is not being able to read fast enough to be able to make sense, understand punctuation and all that stuff. Now, when someone gives you a script, you have to understand the following. A script is not meant to be read. A script is meant to be spoken. So that script is going to have a sequence. That script will have punchlines. That script will have faster places and slower places. It's like a highway. Sometimes you're going to have a red line. You have to start creating traffic signs for your script. You have to stop signs where the period is. Know if you're going through an intersection or where you're stopping is important because sometimes you're stopping, but you're not splitting the sentence or the paragraph. It's not a new paragraph. So you have to understand. You have to understand when to yield because the intention of the script has to be said in a certain way. And if you're not yielding or speeding up, picking up your voice, lowering your voice, all those things, knowing exactly where the punchline is, you can misrepresent the entire script. The entire script. If you do not understand sequence. And if you don't understand the sequence, you're not going to understand the punchline. So if I were to tell you a joke and I go through the punchline without seeming like it's a punchline, you're not going to laugh at my joke, right? Because sometimes the way you take the rhythm in or how you say things is a huge way to determine if you are delivering the real message or not. So it is very important that you understand how you're going to deliver the pace, the rhythm, the punchlines, the traffic stops. Where am I supposed to increase? Where do I have no speed limits? Right now, you got to be careful with that because you need to make sure. Now, how you are going to speak, how you will modulate your voice. If you tend to have a high pitched voice, you need to bring it down. If it's too deep, too down to the ground, you have to pick it up. You have to find the midsection. Now, people with deep voices, uh, tend to sound a lot more pleasant unless it's too much, right? But people with high pitch, very high pitch, you need, and sometimes high pitch is not because the natural sound of the vocals, but it's just because you got used to talking like that, right? So you need to sound professional. Professional people never have a high pitch, never. Maybe a low pitch, but not never a high pitch. Successful people never talk like this. They might talk like this. Now, be careful with the words and how you're deviating from the script, because sometimes if you deviate, and you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do that because sometimes if you're going through the script, you're not just going to be talking to yourself, right? You're going to be, that script is designed for somebody else to be the receptor of the script. So you're going to have to stop and compensate and consolidate, right? Compensate, consolidate, and be reciprocal, congruent to the conversation you're having. So you're gonna find a lot of places there where you're gonna have to get off the script and get back on the script. All right. Don't let someone talk for too long. And how do you do that? I think I've said that before. It's a trick that I came up with, and it works. And I train people in doing this. So when someone's talking for a long time, and you're gonna allow them to, get a little you give them a little freebie here and there. But when you know it's time to stop him, because business time is not the same time as social time. It's not the same, right? When you're with a friend and you're socializing, sometimes our friends will tell us stories that take, a very long time. But when it's business, you got to keep it to business time. All right. So when you notice that someone's getting out of the frame of business time, grab something that you hear, anything technical. I don't care what it is. You don't even have to. I'd say be careful with not paying attention to what they're saying, but just look out for that technical word. For instance, if somebody's saying something, blah, 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 and they say Tesla, because they have a Tesla car, and then you say, hey, listen, if you're doing investments, right? Mentorship for investments. Teslas can be very pricey. In fact, let me tell you a little bit about one of our hottest testimonials. They bought a Tesla right before they signed up for the program. You come up with a story, and then boom, you find your way back into the script. All right, you got to be slick. Anything technical, anything that it's highlighted in your head when they're talking, take it and don't let them run with it. So if you're not practicing your script 3 hours a day, you're gonna start doing the run-on sentences, no punctuation, no punchline, non-sequential paragraphs, no rhythm, no traffic signs, and at the end of the day, you're not going to understand what you just read. And if you don't understand what you just read, that's because you're not hearing yourself. And if you're not hearing yourself, if they ask you a question, and it happens, guys, it's happened to me, not with scripts, but if I'm reading a book and I can read 2 pages without ever paying attention to what I just read. And sometimes because I'm OCD and ADD and all that stuff, I have to go back and reread and so I can recover the text. All right. So you got to make sure that you create a relationship between you and the script. Have people help you train. If you're married, Have your spouse train with you. If you live by yourself, go to the mirror, pretend that you're with someone. I don't know, do something, but you need to read the script. Okay. Ask questions in the meeting. If you're not asking questions, I train people never ask questions. It's really it really it doesn't piss me off. It's just like, and those people typically are the ones not doing well, right? Um, People that ask too many questions, they don't necessarily do well either. I'm just saying that everything in life with logic and balance is better and is better digested, if you know what I mean. All right. Be prepared to answer questions. Be prepared to answer questions. If someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, and so when I say you don't know the answer, I'm not talking about being able to understand the answer as given the correct answer back. But when someone asks me a question that I don't have a clue what the answer is, but I've been paying attention, it'll be clear that I paid attention. I just don't understand what you're asking me. I could say, I'm sorry, I hear what you're saying, but then typically when you don't understand a question and you're interested in the topic and they ask you the question, you don't understand the question, you're going to come back with another question in relationship to that question they just asked. And if you're lost, and some people try to pass it by me, like I ask a question if I'm training, and they just tell me whatever, just because they heard the last thing. I know, and I ask them, what was I talking about? I don't just eat it up and take it. I don't. All right, 7. Be prepared to answer questions. All right, gotcha, guys. So do not ever blame the lead. Instead, give feedback on what the lead needs. Do not rub wins in people's faces. Always give props to those who do good or do well. Always encourage those who are behind, right? If you're given a script, go over the script at least 3 hours per day until you do not have to read it. Ask questions in a meeting. Be prepared to answer questions. Not answer questions make you look unfaced with your obligation to learn. If you want to keep a job, and if you want not just keep your job, the opportunity, especially if you see people making a lot of money, you better take care of that opportunity. But this is how you get people in your pocket to help you, to guide you. And if you do if you are disciplined, you're not playing games, you're gonna make money, even if it takes you a little bit longer. All right, guys. It was a great way to start the year. I wanted to do the first meeting live a week ago. However, things took place, and from things that I needed to put together for this year, and I couldn't be here. But now we're here, and we're gonna stay in this 7 o'clock, 7 p.m. Today I did it a little bit earlier. I did it an hour earlier, but we're gonna go back to 7 o'clock. All right. My name is Jader Salazar. Guys, I am the founder of Black Label Closer, an organization dedicated to help people become highly effective closers in the space of high ticket sales, regardless of what you're selling. This is a skill. This is where you find the skill. You can visit us on Facebook, Black Label Closers. You can go to school.com. Look for Black Label Closers, become a member. All right. We have a free course there. You can integrate the course with questions. I'll answer questions. If you want to play the game, there's a $97 course there, complete. It's great. It's phenomenal. But if you want to put your money where your mouth is, finally I said it, sign up for the partnership program, where you and I get to not just learn, but put this to practice, how to sell high ticket. Obviously, I'm going to get you there. And also, once you sell the program, we get to split 50% for Black Label Closers, 50% for you guys. I couldn't have it any better for you guys. I'll see you next Thursday, next Tuesday. I'll be here. And that's it. Stay cool. Happy New Year. Let's make it happen. Have a good day, guys.